So this is great. We've got this far, steamed it all down. It's all now splayed out, and then we just want to cut the shape. So we've got smaller sides here and smaller this side and then bigger in the middle. I want to create some sort of wiggly shape just to make it a little bit more interesting. So normally I come, start down here, and then I'll come up a bit. Then we'll come down and then up again a little bit at the end. Just a slight tail so it's a little bit wiggly. This side can emulate it or it could be different. So if we just start, let's do the opposite this side, so go around a little bit, then down, and then a little kick at the end, and then they're kind of opposite. That is still quite a big hat, so we could bring it in a little bit more, depending on how you feel and how you want it. But for this hat, I'm just going to come in a little bit more here, curve down. Okay, you don't want to chop all of it off, but I think that would be good. Right, we're going to start cutting the shapes out, but first of all I just want to do a little stitch so that I know this is going to all stay in place. I know I've done one here to keep it in place so I can see it and I can iron it properly, but if I just do some stitches here following this line but underneath it, then I can cut it off and it won't all fall apart. We can cut all of this off later. It's just really to keep all the shapes. And then after we've cut it, we'll be wiring it and edging it in Cinema. So I'm just doing this to help myself so I don't have to fit it all together after. All of these white stitches will be cut out. A lot of work in this hat, isn't there? Lots of stitches, lots of pleats, lots of putting it all together. Okay, and I'm going to finish this off and this side off, and then we're going to come back to you. So I've just sewn along here, along underneath the line, so that when I cut the line off, the stitches stay. And then we're just going to cut off where I put my chalk line. There, take all that off, and then we've got a lovely line going on here. So point in, out and back up. You could have another point on that side if you wanted to as well. So then I've emulated it on the other side. You can do whatever shape you want at the end. Just don't make it zigzaggy. I think a smooth sort of circular shape, windy, is better than anything zigzaggedy. But you know, you can try it, why not? And all these bits can be for another hat. One thread there that's come loose. I just put that back if I can. Okay, I'm loving it, fantastic shape. And all this in the middle here as well, you can either sew that down really, really well, or you can just cut it. So whenever I make them, I sort of cut this and I have this middle bit free. I just put it all together for now so you can do a shape. So either you could really sew it really tight if you want to keep that, or you can cut all your threads, now it's together, and let them go. But don't do it yet. What we're going to do now is wire the edge here and wire here, and then put some cinnamon on the final edge. I was going to put a nice strip of yellow just here as well, just to sort of show the line. So let's just see if that's going to work with the design. Okay, so this is the final design. Now let's just play with it a minute, just to sort of show you how the shape works. You know, you can put it straight on your head, straight up if you want to, on the side. I quite actually like this bit, shaping over the face. So, let's see. So if that bit can come around the face a little bit, and then this up here, once it's all wired, you can then twist this into another shape. Now what I think is this is quite tall, so that would be good for Ascot. If you're doing a wedding, then I would bring the top down a little bit. Also you can undo those bits in the middle and spread them out and see what you get. But that's quite nice there. And then I was also wondering about, like I kept saying, about putting this extra stripe on the end, but then I took it off because I just felt that it was too much, because this yellow really, really stands out on this blue and it's sort of taking over. So, but let's just try it. Let's put it back on. So if we have that, it looks a bit like a cross, doesn't it? So I think having one in the middle is better, or you could have yellow on the edge, or you could have yellow coming up and then across and not put it in the middle, you know. But I think just these particular colours, it's not going to work so much. Maybe if they were a bit softer. So this so far, and then this could come right down, it could go back, you could pull that up. I mean, this would be together. Bit of a fan shape. When I did the one for the gallery years ago, it was really like this, and it was blue, no, cream and blue, so it was the navy and then the blue, and I did that in a bit of a fan. And I think I had a few others, so I had another strip here because it was so white, the cream, that it was very, very light, and then the navy in it, I just had a few extra strips. So you can decide what you want to do. I mean, I know that you have to make this first, and then you can start playing around with the ideas, because you're not sure what's going to work when. So when I did it with white, then I had the blue, so it's not so in your face, and I had a couple more stripes going on, and I think it was about as wide as this one. But then others that I've made are shorter here with a little bit more, so a little bit wider, a little bit shorter. They sort of sit more comfortably down here. So it depends, you know, what you want to do. I might just chop this down a little bit because I feel like this top is just a bit too high. So I might just chop that off a little bit, keep this one long, and then we're going to wire it and edge it. So what I do with the wiring is like you've always done, you know, normal wiring. This is just a little bit more tricky. You want to measure around here, and this is the only bit you're going to wire, this bit and this bit, because there's no point in going down here. These edges are fine. So we just want to measure how much you need, measure that with the wire, but then add an extra, I would say about, maybe not quite an inch, but over a centimetre, so maybe 1.5 centimetres excess, because then you need to fold over your ends of wire so that the ends aren't sticking out and it's just going to end up coming out into somebody's head. So you want at the end of the wire, measure it and then fold over one end, fold over the other end, squidge them together, and then you can sew that on, and then you'll add your Cinema or your Petersham on top of that. You know, the back or the front, either way, we don't know which is yet. I mean, I would say that's probably the front. So you're going to sew it on via the back there, but you might have it the other way around, so you can decide which is your front and which is your back. So let's measure it and get the wire and start. Let's just measure. Let's do 17 and then we can cut a little bit off. So it was 15. I don't really want 2 inches, but I just added 2 inches, and then I can cut a little bit extra off, or you could do, you know, 1.5 inch, be fine. So 15. Yeah, let's do 16.5. And then we've got 15, 16.5. Then we want to find the middle of that, 1/2 inch. Should be about right actually. So let's just give it an extra inch. I'll just chop this bit off. So I had 15, I'm going to end up with 16. And then I can bend it by 1/2 inch. Just that side. So we just bent in by 1/2 inch. Just do as much as you can. This is a 1.2 millimeter French millinery wire, and then I'm just going to squish it together. So then it just protects my end, so that all of that is squished together, so they've got no pointy bits coming out. Okay, and then just bend that to fit. With wire, you should always just straighten it first, so you can get a cloth, a tea towel, cotton cloth, and just straighten the whole thing first. Make sure there's no kinks in it. If you haven't got any kinks, then you're good to go and bend it in your shape. But if it's got lots of kinks in it, make sure you get those out first. You just bend it, you can lay it down, see one end sticking up, so you can just sort of bend it until you feel you've got any of that excess kink out that just wants to fold the other way. There, so it's laying pretty flat. Then I'd use a dark colour to go along here. You know, you can use the same colour. I could use navy just to go around. But if you're putting a cinnamon on, you probably won't see it. Or if you're putting Petersham on, you really won't see the stitch. But just in case it's going to shine through, so, you know, I wouldn't do black on cream, for instance. But I have cream here, so I'm just doing this so you can see. But otherwise, I would normally use black. And this is going to be the front. Actually, it's the other way around. This is going to be the front. So this is going to be my back. Okay, I'll just bring this closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just putting it just on the very edge, as we normally do with our wiring. I'm just going to do a blanket stitch, just to make sure this is sewn on really well at the end here. And I'm only using white so you can see my stitches. Normally I would use navy. And then just make sure these are in the right place to where you want them. You might have to move some around because some are closer than others. And then it's just a blanket stitch. So go through the loop, pull it tight as normal. This wire is going to help hold it all in place. So you might want to go through 2 pieces of cinnamon just to make sure it's all holding in place. And you might want to do smaller stitches than what you normally do, because I normally jump about 1 centimetre, but I'm just going to do slightly smaller ones now. So you can see it's a bit messy because it's all in white, but this is just a blanket stitch going all the way along, and then I would just carry on with this and then pull this out. I'm going to spread some out a bit because they've shrunk slightly, and that will fit. And then once that's done, then you just want some cinema edging. So I mean, I'm not going to use yellow, I'm going to use the navy, but this would then just slide over. Make sure your ends here, because these are going to be rough. This will have to come in. Put this on the end and then go around, but actually I would do it so you're folding it over the end. So if we fold that backwards, open it out, so folding that over, then down, and that's going to go across, and then this, you can get some steam on it and squish it all so it fits nicely. Sew this on, bend it, stretch it to fit in the curve. You can use Petersham or you can use Cinema, depending on what you want to do. That's that. So I'm going to finish off sewing this. I'm going to do this side as well, and then I'm going to sew this on, but you'll know how to do this. You've done it a million times, so you don't need my help in getting this on. And then we're going to come back and show you how to finish it off. Also, we've got the base to finish as well. Brilliant. Thank you.